Hey, this week on Bros, Bibles, and Beer.
I've been let down. I prayed for this thing. I asked God. I thought I did all the right things, and it didn't turn out the way I hoped it would.
You know what? This God thing is not working for me.
God doesn't determine it, but if it's actually set in stone, do you actually have free will? That's the stoner rabbit hole I want to go down now. But
No one wants to listen to some boring-ass white dudes. What are you pouring right there, dude? I know we don't do this, but what are you pouring? For real.
A new brewery in the Ladera Ranch area, 10 Mile Brewing Company. I think they have a home base somewhere else. I think this is a new location. But this is Hyperion Triple IPA.
Dude, you know what's cool about that can? It harkens back to the old school, like, tin ceramic, like, coffee can that you take with yourself to camping, that you take with yourself. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, the splatter.
Yeah,
it's got like the paint splatter.
Yeah. I don't think that's
those tin cans would get
bashed around.
The tin cans would get so hot.
Oh yeah,
off the piping stove. It's a 10% beer, so we're gonna start slow and see how that goes.
Mostly made out of vodka. Holy crap!
Beautiful crystals.
Look how clear that is. Oh man.
All right. Well, how you doing, Jeffrey? Back behind the helm, the ones and zeros.
Yeah. I was thinking about something.
Okay.
Not that you guys should.
Well, far be it from you to be authentic and tell us what you're thinking.
No, I was running today.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And listening to a message from a pastor, and just something popped in my head of for some reason, way in the past.
Does his name rhyme with Rat Chandler?
Yes, probably. Yes, it does.
Fat handler.
But something something did come up that I thought about somebody who said, the God thing's not working for me. Like, this is years ago. The God thing's not working for me.
Somebody you know, or just
somebody that I know, and
somebody we know.
Yeah, somebody that we know.
Ooh.
But
let's guess.
Hold on, no.
You're talking about me?
I'm kidding.
No. This is years ago, but it got me thinking. Like, you know what? I think there was probably a time where I thought, you know what, this God thing is not working for me, and then I thought, however, we're not meant to have an easy life. Like, I believe I'm following Jesus now. Everything's great. And then things are not working out. And you're like, I think a lot of people, at some point question, like, things are so difficult right now that this God thing is not working for me.
I wonder if at times it's like, it's not working for me. Life is already hard enough. It can feel like it's arguably harder to be a Christian at times. Like, you're adding rules to the mix. I'd rather just have no rules and do my own thing for a while until I realize what happens when I have no rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you guys think that God?
Yeah.
Do you guys think? Sorry, that was my thinking. Yeah.
Non-response.
What? So you mentioned life's not working for me, or we're not meant to have an
God's
easy life.
Not working for me.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
we're not meant to have an easy life. Is that just like a reality that all Christians should expect, or is it maybe sometimes a reality? And I want to lead the witness so hard right now at the follow-up comment, but I'll leave it alone.
Would it be worth to answer your question even better if we all maybe got a little bit deeper into what it means to say this God thing isn't working for me? Because the reason I mention that is because I think there's probably a lot of different ways that manifests for people. Some of it is, I just don't feel it anymore, and so the emotions are gone, right? And then maybe there's some of it that is like, I experienced tragedy. I can't resolve this in my head. I'm conflicted. How could a good God allow evil like this to happen in the world, or to me, or to my family?
Right.
Or it's just, I've been let down. I prayed for this thing. I asked God. I thought I did all the right things, and it didn't turn out the way I hoped it would.
Yeah, we were in.
Did I get every single version?
You covered enough of the gamut. I mean, we were in when we did our road trip out to Idaho. People were telling us about the different churches out there, and Idaho is a more conservative place than California, even Southern California in our bubble in Orange County. But one of the churches was a big church that's growing, and they're just like on the nose, like right out front. We are a I don't know if they say prosperity, but they're like, we're a name it and claim it. If things aren't going well for you, it's because
you did something wrong.
You did something wrong, or you don't have the right faith. They just like threw it out there, like this is a place for people who want to get better and have faith and excel.
Welcome to our church. We're all up in your faith.
Nice. You got a new lisp there.
You can
all up in this faith.
You can friend us on Facebook.
But that's one of the versions of, like, you can imagine if somebody loses a job in that church, heartbreak and disillusionment with God is going to happen pretty quick if you believe wholeheartedly, that if your life is not successful and your business is failing, it is because of your faith.
Who was it? Do we talk about this? Who was it? The church that got sued because they gave the guarantee on the tithe?
It was one of the big ones. Was it Gateway? I don't know. I feel like we always talk about Gateway, so I just...
It's safe to just say it's Gateway Church.
Allegedly, I don't know. I don't know if it was Gateway.
Whatever. It was probably some Dallas church. Yeah, that'll get you 90% of the way there.
Mm-hmm.
If there's
for almost any church related.
But do you remember that, Jeff? Where they said,
I do.
If you tithe here, we guarantee that. Like, if you don't see, I don't know, it was a little bit vague, but it's like, if you don't see prosperity in your life within X amount of time, we will give you your money back.
Right. They're going all in, like, just tithe. And ultimately it's like, just tithe.
And some dude was like, didn't see it.
Right. Money back.
According to Google AI,
I'm going to keep that tax write-off, but
Creative Church offers a 90-day tithe challenge with a money-back guarantee if God doesn't bless you as promised in the Bible. Life.Church offers a 3-month tithe challenge, which I think is around 90 days as well, with a honey per spent money-back guarantee.
Honey per spent. Got a honey per spent.
If you don't see God's blessings. So those are the two that came up first. Life.Church, take the 3-month tithe challenge. Yes. Anyways, so it's real.
So there's disillusionment there.
Well, I guess my thinking was, why am I not walking, but somebody I knew did? I mean, I don't know what that is. I don't know if they just got slammed in life and were like, I'm pulling the ripcord. I got to go and live a different life that's not connected to, I don't know. Maybe felt terrible. I have no idea.
Like, was their life worse than yours, and therefore, because of that, they were more justified in walking away, or you're just trying to understand? Like,
well, I think about. I mean, the pastor was talking about how he was with some people from Nike who were millionaires. He was with some people who were with other corporations at a gathering, and they're Jesus people, and they're also millionaires, and they're like, none of this brought us joy. Yeah. The money doesn't bring you joy. The shortcut of this doesn't bring you joy. Like, everybody's chasing everything, and nowhere in there do you ever get satisfied. And so I was kind of left with that. I'm like, that's right. Amen. Yes. Jesus is the way. I'm like, of course. Like, sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, am I falling away from my faith? What's happening? Why do I not feel like jacked up and pumped up for Jesus right now when I know this is the only way? And sometimes you go down a path where I'm like, Jesus, hello, I totally forgot you.
Yeah.
You were here hanging out with me, and I think I just took the side door and went somewhere else for, a season.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I brought it up. It just seemed a little scary. It seemed a little scary to me when
that friend of yours was like, I'm done.
Yeah, well, not so much him, but the fact that
you thought about it?
When I thought about it, I'm like, what am I even thinking? Like
when did you last think about this? When was this last quote season?
today? Oh no,
What time is it?
Oh, it was probably within
Now o'clock.
within the last 6 months.
Yeah.
3 months. But it's been ongoing, but I don't reflect on it all the time just because I can be so lost that I'm like, what is happening? Why is my heart not full? Like, what have I been doing? Literally made a note and it's sitting on my dashboard right now in my car. It says, like priority change or something like that. Like your priorities need to be, and there's a couple verses that are there, but
That's good.
Anyway.
Those reminders are good, dude. Physical reminders. It's important.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm with you with some of that. I've lately had a very shitty attitude, just kind of in general. It's mostly like background radiation, like internal stuff, or, it doesn't often get expressed out loud, but I just sort of rediscovered, like, man, set the tone in the morning. And I think, Andy, you reminded me of this when you were one of our recent conversations. It wasn't on the podcast, I don't think. You were talking about your morning routine.
Yeah.
Like morning routine. And
yep.
One of the things that I've done off and on, and lately more on than off, and it's helping, is like some breath work in the morning. And as I'm doing it, thinking about like literally just breathing in good, it's going to sound totally woo, but good thoughts, and like breathing out the stuff you don't want, and just contemplating the gratitude I have, and then like just sort of purging the negativity or the anxiety. And it does help. And it's often not like right away. It's often like later in the morning, I'll feel it's like a little kickstart that has a delayed effect. And it's not magic. It's my own version of, I'll just thank God for like the good things and accept the things that are bad that are just are. And I don't know, not make it too weird, but it's a thing that I probably I fought against a little bit because of my prayer life is so different than my past. And like for a while, not even praying or thinking about those things at all. And then like circling back to like what is true and good, like legit true, that I can gravitate towards and acknowledge and have gratitude for, and just recognize the things that I feel shitty about that they don't actually matter that much. Like they're not they're not a thing that should be weighing on me. So
like
just kind of purging that.
A trivial thing. Like, seriously, this is what's getting me.
And because I was noticing, the more trivial things where I'm on the road, or I come across somebody that does something stupid that has nothing to do with me, I can't control them, and there's like instant judgment, and it's like they control a small part of my life because I actually feel annoyed for them.
I'm annoyed by that person now. I know who they are.
I know, but it's like they control me a little bit now. And they don't even know me. We didn't actually have an interaction, but this person owns a small part of my life. I'm giving control to them because I'm, I don't know, short, anxious, angry. And so some of those things are like, okay, I need to sort of recenter myself and orient myself towards things I know that are good and true.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up. It keeps crashing for some reason. It must be spiritual warfare.
Obviously.
But yeah, the whatever is true, whatever is good.
The Bible verse?
Yes.
That's good.
But the search function continues to make it crash on my phone.
Do you want me to look it up while you talk about it?
Well, no, it's fine. I think we all know which verse it is, which is there. There's a programming of your mind though that is biblical, and there's a reason that like in scripture it's telling you to focus on those things, like focus on gratitude, focus on the goodness, the purity, the truth, because that like, stuff
find the holy things in your life, find the spirit driven things, the things that God would be like, that this is so good, whatever it might be, just the ability to I'm not going to lash out. I'm actually gonna, somebody does something, you're like, man, that ticks me off, but somehow I'm gonna flip this and be
Yes.
compassionate or understanding. I have no idea how this person got up today, and maybe all hell broke loose, and now they're just upset. And how do we respond to them? And that would be like, that would make my day if I'm like, I should be pissed off, but you know what? I don't need to be, because that'd ruin me and them, and it doesn't need to happen.
Yeah. You found it, Zach. Thank you. It's Philippians 4:8. And dude, it's a good reminder. I should plug this in at the first thing in the morning too. But finally, brothers and sisters, whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever's right, whatever's pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And that's a tone setter, dude. It is a tone setter for the day. It's at any point in the day, it's a tone setter. And it doesn't feel like that doesn't feel magical. Some of that is just common sense. If I concentrate on downers, it's going to make me feel down.
Yeah, so much of we've all confessed to some of this stuff, but especially today in the polarized climate and stuff, we played some videos on the last episode of Jeff, you brought of the people just freaking out at the election results, and some of the more caricatured versions might be embellished or fake for clicks, but no doubt people are freaked out at things they don't have direct control over.
Right.
And so that's some of the things that have been going on with me, is like, I'm getting angry over things I don't have direct control over. And that's a reminder for me. I'm like, okay, what's going on under the hood with me, to where like when I'm at my best, it doesn't faze me. I acknowledge like that person's pissed, that person's a shitty driver, whatever. Today, as I'm driving in to, I live in this super gated community. It's incredible. There's no guard on duty, but anyway, somebody's going to punch in the buttons. I'm right behind him. I open it before they pull up to it, because I live there, and they go to punch the button. I flash the lights because the gate is open as they're pulling up to it, and they're just clearly not paying attention. And then they turn to get closer to be able to reach the punch card. They drive up onto the curb of the center planter.
Oh no.
I flash my lights again. The gate's open. Then they open the window. They lean out to punch the buttons. I start honking because I'm like,
the gate's open.
On my way here tonight, I'm like, I don't have time for this. The gate is open for you. I start honking multiple times. Nothing phases them. They punch in the code and then drive off the curb and then through the gate as if like they did the work. And like part of me was like, what the fuck? I just did that for you. But it literally a moment of what I'm talking about, where I was viscerally upset at somebody I can't control. And it's like,
over something stupid too.
Over something stupid. And part of that is like, just regular work stress and everything. Everything is bleeding into those moments. No moment is in a vacuum. But I know that's when I need to check myself and be like, let's reframe things, because you're getting pissed about things you shouldn't be when you know you're at your best.
I too was on my period last night.
Manstrating.
And I was short. I was an asshole to Lindsay about stuff that had nothing to do with her at all. And I was just being like very condescending in some of my responses. It's because I just had a crappy, stressful day at work. And I came downstairs after a while because she's like, okay, I'm going to leave you alone for a while because clearly you have some stuff that you need to sort out. And I'm like, whatever. And about 2 minutes later, I come down. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. I was rude.
Tail between your legs.
You did not deserve that. That's on me. You don't need to say it's okay or anything like that. Like, I'm sorry. I let work stress bleed into my other reactions, and you got some of it. So not good.
That I've heard of, the correct way to apologize. Like, you don't give reasons. Like, don't give why you did what you did. Just, you leave it at that. I'm sorry, I did this. I should have never done that. And then there's the apology, which it really is an apology, where you say like, hey, I'm sorry, but you said this, and that's what it's like. That wasn't an apology. Or as you pointed out, the okay, where someone says it's okay. It's like, no, don't.
No, not okay.
No. I trampled on you.
Yeah.
It's not okay. And please, genuinely,
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened. And then for that person to say, I accept your apology. Or could you give me some time?
Yeah.
I need to think about this, like that hurt or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I think I probably heard this on Focus on the Family, years ago with an author talking about this. I'm like, yeah, I agree.
They should be paying us by now. The
Dude.
amount of times Jeff mentions Focus on the Family.
Yeah.
Come on, Focus on the Family.
Unofficially brought to you by Focus on the Family. Hey, do you guys find that when someone apologizes to you, do you feel compelled inside to let them off the hook right away?
Depends on the thing.
Yes, I agree.
But my
depends.
My peacemaker number 9 on the Enneagram, like normally the default is like, even if I'm still pissed, like, oh, don't worry about it. And so even if I let them off the hook, it might be slightly inauthentic because I just want to make peace now, and I just trust that eventually the rest of me will follow. But
Andy, how about you? Do you have an immediate reaction?
I think more often than not, I'm usually good at letting things go pretty quickly, especially if I feel like if the apology is genuine. If it's not genuine,
and you can sense that right away.
Oh yeah, we can all we smell our own. No, but we can sense that right away. We know it. And actually, I think the disingenuous apology feels disrespectful. Like I feel personally disrespected when somebody does that. Like you're fucking with me now. No, this is worse. It's worse that you did that than if you wouldn't have apologized.
yeah,
Yes.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
If I sense passive aggression, because passive aggression is something that I major in, and I would like to eliminate that from my life. And so it's one of those things, oftentimes it's sort of a version of you are what you say other people are or whatever.
I am what I say you are.
And so passive aggression is that for me. And so when somebody uses it on me, I detect it really quick and I hate it. And
oh, do you?
fuck you, Andy.
I always have to think like, wait, is that passive aggression? I can't ever quite remember exactly what it is, but that felt like it. Did I do it right?
That was a little Bill Maher sarcasm. Maybe it's a hybrid of sarcasm and passive aggression.
Yeah.
I feel like those are cousins.
They are.
Yeah. Oh, do you?
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, that's sarcasm. I don't know. I'm not good.
With my kids, it's so rare that I apologize to them because I'm exceptional. But there's been times where I've apologized and they'll say it's okay, and I have not every time, but I try to remember like, no, it wasn't okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just asking for your forgiveness.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be okay, and you can forgive me, and then we move on.
Yeah.
And that's like, forgiveness is not okay.
We teach them a little bit there too. Like
ideally,
no.
yeah. Yeah, and it's the whole like reconciliation versus forgiveness thing. Like if you've been abused or harmed deeply by the church or a spouse or whatever, as you experience healing, you might be able to forgive them. It doesn't make it okay, and it doesn't mean they need to be in your life or you need to be like
No.
in the worst possible situation. I'm thinking like you can learn to forgive without like saying, "Oh, that was okay." And I think sometimes people don't distinct that. I put the stink in distinct. Anyways,
Sometimes they
whatever.
don't.
They don't stink.
They don't stink that. When's the last time you apologized to a friend?
Are you fishing right now? Do I need to apologize for something?
I don't know. It just made me think about that. I realized like
I'm sorry, Andy.
Yeah, family members. I feel like I've apologized to. I think I've apologized to people on the board before when I was like in a really crappy mood and was grouchy. I don't know, but
Saying a direct "I'm sorry." I know I have. I don't remember. I think it's sort of. I think piggybacking on you saying usually you can just let things go easily. I think sometimes there's like a recognize, especially if it's somebody you know, like, hey, that got a little weird, or maybe it was uncomfortable, but kind of unspoken. We're good, right? And
Yeah.
trusting that we are good.
I'm not fishing. It just stuck out to me as like, oh wait, is that weird? That I don't know. The people that you spend a ton of time around, or what is that?
Well, there's going to be the most opportunity to do wrong, say something wrong to one of your buddies, in our circle.
Yeah.
And so, it's like the, hey, most car accidents happen close to your home. It's like, duh, because I'm always around.
Yeah.
That's where I finish every drive, of course.
And the bar is right there.
So the same would be with your friends. So like, there's going to be some wrongs that are done. It's like, I went a little too far there, or I kind of took advantage of this, or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, they're within our circle of friends, and I don't know, maybe even between you guys. I don't remember because
I feel like I did give a half-assed apology from our last year's Mammoth trip when I like over signal or a message. I was like, hey, I'm sorry for being so grumpy when I was getting like straight up cabin fever on the last day when we were snowed in.
Yeah, but that's different though.
I felt like I was being a dick though.
You were.
Like, I was.
And
I was not being.
You were, but it wasn't directed at anybody in particular. It was sort of like, okay, give Andy his space.
I just was not fun to be. I wasn't fun for me to be around. That was.
You don't like smelling your own in that case.
No, do not.
No, but that was fine.
I'm not apologizing for it again. I already did it once. Let it go. Jeez.
Yeah,
God.
and you were already forgiven before the foundations of the world, according to my theology.
No, there were some times I recognized in the past that I have apologized to people in our circle of friends.
Yeah.
Just because been floating through my faith, going, is this working? Am I plugged in? What's happening? And so I have really bad times where I've lashed out, or I've just been short, or I haven't answered, or I've ignored, or whatever. I've done it with my wife, or good friends.
You've done it with your wife?
Yeah,
that's good.
You've done it with good friends?
You guys, you owe me an apology.
No, we don't. You stepped right in it. We would apologize to you if we didn't acknowledge those.
Oh, you want me to apologize for not hitting that big fat goose egg you threw up there?
Yeah, but the thing was that I actually apologized to one of our buddies. This is several years back when I was just off my rocker, and I'm like, it probably was a week or two after, and I'm maybe not even that, maybe a couple days, and I'm like, I owe you apology for, and I don't recall. It's been a long time, but it was left in the past. And he goes, I thought something was off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you knew. And I'm glad that I recognized that, and I came back and said something like, genuinely,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. You're too good of a friend to receive whatever it was. And we moved on. But that was probably the last time, like, outside of my wife, who, I just step on my tongue all day long.
Should we apologize to Jesus?
Repent? Apology? What?
Is repenting and apologies the same thing? I don't feel like they're not the same thing.
Recognizing? This is actually one of the things we say. Do we recognize God in things, and maybe apologies?
All apologies are not repentance, but all repentance are No, flip that. I don't know. I'm trying to do a version of you can apologize for something. You can repent for something that doesn't need repenting, just meaning like turning. Like, oh, I'm going the wrong direction. Let me turn.
It's recognition of
Yeah.
some sort of wrongdoing and agreement and action that says, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah. And I think for some people, maybe you need, I know I've been there. Go ahead.
Well, this is a genuine question. I'm not trying to set this up. I'm just like processing this thought out loud, but, and maybe the listener's like, you're an idiot, Andy. But would you ever apologize to Jesus? Like, Jesus, I'm sorry that I did this. Like this, it's in worship songs. What's that one? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, yeah.
When I
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When I feel better.
Thank you for keeping it vague enough to where YouTube won't flag us.
You guys are killing me.
Phony.
Yeah, that's, like,
You know the thing.
so
The apology.
are we supposed to say I'm sorry to Jesus, or is he calling us to something different?
Or is it more like Ryan Adams?
Like we should say I'm sorry to Ryan Adams?
Or is it Brian Adams? It's Brian Adams. Sorry.
Brian Adams,
No,
the
I'm
Canadian.
sorry. I'm sorry,
the
Jesus.
Canadian.
Please forgive me. I know not what I do.
Yeah, no, well, I know not what you talk about. I know not what you mean.
Please forgive me. You don't know that song? I know not what I do. Now I'm singing on a podcast.
Is
Not
that
well.
Robin Hood?
It's Brian Adams.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
Brian Adams
Brian.
from the Robin Hood soundtrack.
I'm sorry, Jesus, that I invoked Ryan Adams. I shouldn't have confused those.
You can name this chapter in the podcast. Skip it.
No, I do not say sorry lately. I used to say sorry all the time to Jesus or to God. Rinse and repeat. Your mileage may vary. There's the first one. The second one requires me to drink. But like physically, like praying for, I'm sorry I did that. Now I would not take digs at people that do a version of that. But yeah, there's a time where I needed to feel better. I needed to physically say, not physically, but say like audibly in my brain or even out loud, like, oh, I'm sorry. Please forgive me for X, Y, and Z specific things. And now I think my healthier version of me in that is just recognizing the mistake and like, oh yeah, that happened and that wasn't great. But
So confession and forgiveness, it feels like, are both not exactly apologizing. Because in my mind, the apology piece is like, it's something that I did to you specifically. You know what I mean? Like, Zack, I'm sorry that I stole $5 out of your wallet.
wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. No one carries cash. That's how you know it's a lie. I'm sorry for lying. But so the question then comes to my mind is like, okay, so when you sin, do you feel like you are sinning against God? Always, every time.
No.
All sin is a sin against God.
Nope.
You say
and
no.
that's my heresy. Hasn't always been that way, but right now, no.
How come?
Because I believe that if there is a God who cares about me personally that exists beyond time and space, that forgiveness is just a reality that's already there, and I just need to recognize it. Does that sound woo?
But is sin there?
Yeah. And recognizing like, hey, I fucked up there and just reorienting. But
yeah.
The idea of God beyond time and space, like, but you didn't say it. You didn't say the exact thing. You turned away from your sin, but you didn't say it exactly in your head.
But why?
It just seems silly.
But why did you?
It seems petty.
But why do you turn though? Because you recognize.
Yeah.
Right. So the
sin exists. Like I'm oriented towards adding love to the world, at least in my own life, and trying to like have it be with my. So if it's something violates that, any sin is like a violation towards directional agape love. I don't know if that's a
violation
perfect thing.
Away from.
Yes, thank you. And so when that happens, like recognizing it, and sometimes I might not realize it until a family member or somebody says it, and then. But I've lost the guilt of like needing to repent every time to God because it is a sin against God. And I know I'm counter to a lot of Christianity
probably
who think that you have sinned against God and God is angry at you for that. And so if you don't repent.
But there's a lot of times where I say, what am I doing? And when I really reflect on it, I'm talking to God.
That's a confession.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just a real confession. And so it's a version of that.
Right. God already knows he already knows it, like knows where I'm at, knows what I'm up to, knows where I'm headed, and is giving me guidance. I can listen or not, but when I'm saying, what am I doing? Like, why did I do that? Or, it's like, I'm going the wrong direction, as you said.
That's how we know that God is Santa Claus.
Explain.
He knows when you're naughty or nice.
I think that's where most Christians are at, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is like he's keeping a list.
So
He's checking it twice.
That's not true.
I feel like if I sin against another person,
Yes. And this was your original question.
my you guys are helping me kind of think this through out loud.
Oh, so it's free therapy?
My apology. Yes, it is free. And sip your beer slowly. Oh no, you don't have my beer yet, but you should. It's
Ooh,
good.
the stereo pills.
Stereo brewing Pilsner. I ran out of words.
Free jingle. Pilsner burp.
Pilsner burp. I feel like if I sin against someone, which is typically the way most of it happens, then I'm apologizing to the person. I'm asking them for forgiveness. And only if there's some I don't know. I feel like that represents 98.5% of how I think about sin and react to sin in my life. Now, is there other times where I'm like, hey, God, there's a general, maybe not something specific, not, hey, there was this moment in time, God, please forgive me for this exact moment in time. But maybe it's more like, hey, I've been a selfish person lately, and it's just been broadly selfish. God, I confess that. I recognize that in my life, and that's not the thing that you want for me. But I feel like that seems to be, for whatever reason, like that's the exception. Most often, I feel like I'm apologizing and asking for forgiveness from individuals versus presenting that to God. If I was a really good Christian, would I do both?
I don't know if there's a difference, though.
Zach, will you forgive me? And once I'm done with that, I will go back and ask God to forgive me.
And what if God doesn't forgive you?
He already did.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
There you go. And maybe the image-bearing nature of humanity. When you get forgiveness from another human, you're getting forgiveness from God.
Well, I think if you won't forgive,
I don't know if I
it's
buy
like
that one.
it's
I
like
get where you're going,
forgiving.
but I don't know if I sign up for that.
It's like forgiving your debtors. If you will not pass that on,
As God has forgiven you.
You're putting yourself on a slippery slope for yourself, for how if you're going to hold on to that, that's a burden that's going to eat you alive if you're just not willing to recognize, and because it's such a huge thing when you ask for forgiveness from somebody, and to go, and there's some people who,
It's humbling.
yeah, and there's some people who actually, would say, I realized that was a big deal for you. Like,
Yeah.
maybe some people are not like that. You're like, I know that was a big deal. And, and so in that moment, the person who's asking for forgiveness realizes, okay, this isn't such a bad thing. I'm not losing my pride and ego are not damaged. I actually feel something different than what I ever thought it would be.
It's fine if you don't have an answer to this. Have you ever gone in for an apology or asked for forgiveness and it was received really poorly? As in, it was like, no, piss off. I don't forgive you. You can get out of here. Like, has that ever happened to you?
Oh, years ago with
Her name's Tanya.
with my wife.
Yeah.
Wait, oh man, when we were this is before Jesus times, but it was, I would be, she'd like, I don't want to hear it. Don't even.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
completely closed off. It's just, it doesn't matter what you say right now.
oh, I'd start with a little story, and she'd be like, I already smell your bullshit. You can just stop right there. And yeah, I'd try and justify whatever the heck I was, BSing and trying to, I'm better in this whole situation of marriage and being, a husband and a father. And I don't know why I'm talking like I'm from the
Wow.
South now, but
Shots fired. I think you need to ask forgiveness from the South.
Yeah.
Sorry, South.
Anyway, yeah, I think wives just in general, they can smell your BS from a mile away, and they're like, not just stop, come back in a couple of days.
Your wives can, your friends can, and I think that's a good indicator that you've got people around you who know you really well.
And it's a great thing to have. If you don't have somebody
Yeah.
that's got the barometer on
BS indicator.
on you, then that's not good. It's good to have good friends who will call things out, and wives who will be like, no, or you know what, I really appreciate that. It's like, it's not that we're running our lives based off how our wives feel, but it's nice that
They're the most important opinion in our lives. Right?
Yeah, on this earth, yes. Absolutely.
But on Mars, my most important one.
Yeah, because your wife isn't on
Mookie
Mars. Yes. Your wife is on Venus, according to that book.
According to that book, she is on Venus.
Wait, what's the title?
And I'm on Mars with all the dudes. Does that mean that only, like, it's all everyone's
Oh, it's the biggest
gay
party
lesbian?
ever. Yeah.
Only women on Venus, only dudes on Mars?
Yeah.
that's
Men
it.
are from Mars,
Women
women
are
are from
from
Venus. Be better if it was men are from Venus because it rhymes with
Penis. Yeah.
I was going to say between us, but whatever.
Wow, I like saying penis out loud into a microphone.
Uh,
Jeff, how those headphones sound when I say penis? Penis. How's that sound? Is that good?
listen, you're going to get us demonetized before we can ever be monetized.
Okay. Hey, it reminded me of we're talking about love and forgiveness. I'm going to read the most cliche section of the Bible. If you know Wedding Crashers, they place a bet
Oh, yeah.
on whether it's 1 Corinthians or the other one. I can't remember the other one they bet on, but and it's worth.
I love the inside baseball of that little bet, though. Do you remember that scene? It's early in Wedding Crashers. They go to the wedding and they start betting which verse is going to be read at the wedding, and it's and they're like,
I don't remember.
Oh, it's 1 Corinthians, and the other dude's like, no, it's going to be.
What is the other one?
Second Timothy?
I don't remember.
So, wives submit. Maybe it was whatever. But yeah, so they have two of them, and it is the two main verses that always get read at every single wedding. And I love that they're both like, which one is going to be? No, it's this one. No.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
That movie is
it's
national
epic.
treasure.
Epic. Oh yeah.
But this is sort of a touchstone for me, faith-wise, because losing my faith in the doctrine of inerrancy or certain aspects of God that I thought were totally true and now I'm not sure about. The idea of God being agape love, like the center of the universe and of all reality, the creative force behind the universe being agape love, which is just self-sacrificial in nature.
Yeah.
I believe and Dan McClellan of Data Over Dogma I'm wearing this shirt. He's a Bible scholar, but
he tag him in the show notes.
He can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the word agape is being used whenever it says love in this passage. So it's worth considering, is this what God's like? Because there are some passages of the Bible that seem to allude that God is like this, but also in other ways that might be less helpful, but not.
I don't know what that means. But
okay,
continue.
That's fine. That's par for the course. I'm on brand then. If I speak in tongues of men or angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries,
is that a diss on drummers, by the way, right there? He's
probably.
Like, I'm just a shitty drummer.
Dude, Paul was the original Church of Christ guy. That's like, no drums.
Yeah.
No drums.
If I'm like this, I'm just a crappy drummer, not even a musician.
If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but I do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. I was shitty at that today. I was not loved today. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me, except for video games, Paul. Sorry. But for now, we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. It's like, we're so used to that passage. I think sometimes we miss the power. It's just a powerhouse of there's a reason it's a cliche now, but sometimes you hear it so much, you just lose. Like if you just put God in there, like God is patient, God is kind.
Yeah.
God does not envy, God does not boast, God is not proud, God does not dishonor others. God keeps no record of wrongs. And I think a lot of Christians, for good reason, and sometimes we should have seasons of maybe thinking about it this way. You're thinking of God as the checklist, like, well, you did this. God is more like Santa Claus. So I think for some people, depending on where they're at in life, it might be more healthy for them to think about God in that way. But I don't think that's the fullness of God. I think Paul is trying to propel us forward into like, what is the completeness of God and God's love? It is these things. The greatest of these is love.
But
more than faith and hope.
And those aren't just descriptions, though, of God. I mean, that is a blueprint for us for life, right?
Yeah, and I think that is you. I would make the argument that that's you being made into
the image
of God more completely.
Yeah, as you were reading that, I was like, man, it would be an interesting. This week, I'm going to try to go back and read through that section, but instead of like. I'm just going to add in, I can be patient. I can be kind. I can all of those things. And I wonder how that will make me feel when I'm done reading all of that in that type of
like a tone setter.
Yeah.
Like the other verse, what was the other one we talked about?
Jacob tied his ass to a tree and walked 500 miles.
Yeah. And that's where we get that song.
Yep.
And I will walk
500 miles.
And I will walk
500 more.
Just a bee.
Listener, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you are missing.
Jeff just had
the jokes.
He had a Mitch McConnell moment there. Just shut down, powered down.
Sir, have you tried restarting your router?
You guys are just, for me, I'm like, are we going sideways? We're going, what's happening here?
That's good.
Good stuff.
I appreciate that. Speaking of which, slight callback. This is the second week straight now. I've been waking up early every morning for an hour and a half reading. And
how's it going?
Dude, it's reprogramming my brain. Like legitimately reprogramming my brain. My days feel different. I feel like lower stress, lower anxiety, more focus, more ability to pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. All of those things. I made some allusion to it, but like about dopamine addiction. Maybe sometime I'll do a little bit of research and bring something that we can talk about and react to about all the effects of dopamine and what's been studied. But needless to say, like all of our screens and 24/7
horribleness,
24/7 news availability is not helping us be better as human beings.
Exhaustion.
Yeah. But there was this thing, I listened to a podcast last year, and this guy was on, it's the Cody Sanchez podcast, and it was kind of an interesting thing because she's mostly a business focused.
I just lip smacked like you did. You caused me to lip smack because I'm a merger. Anyways, Cody Sanchez, what's her podcast called?
Big Deal.
Yes.
Yeah. Big Deal. It's really good. She has really cool interesting guests on, and one of them was he was an author, he was a scholar, he like co-written books with Oprah, but he didn't seem like the type of person that would co-write a book with Oprah.
Wow.
Anyway,
You read a book, and you read a book. You read a book.
he talked about the idea of waking up super early, and there was a name for it, and I think it was called the Creator's Hour. And it wasn't like, oh, you can be creative. It wasn't that. It was God as the creator. There's an hour that's so early in the morning that the rest of the world's not woken up
That
yet.
that quietness,
Yes.
that stillness of the world. It's like it's just me and the silence, and that's good for us.
It's like it's just me and God. Like
That's awesome.
we're the only ones awake right now, and I've been getting a slice of that over the last 2 weeks, and I'm realizing I need that, dude. It's so important for me. I'm not going to say it's great for everyone. I'm not going to say everybody else in the world needs this too.
Some people, it's the late night.
Yeah,
But I think it's the practice that's more important.
practice is important too.
But we don't realize it until we get it. We're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
You don't know what you got till you.
Until you got it or you've lost it.
What you're doing is you have found I would call it a spiritual practice, even if it is just getting up and reading and getting up and contemplating prayer, whatever it is. You're doing a repeatable pattern that is a tone setter, that's life-giving. And for some people, it might be late at night after the family's in bed and you have that solitude. But I think the point is the practice, the intentionality behind it that reaps the dividends.
Dude,
to use a phrase.
If I only woke up early and just left my phone alone, if that if that was the only thing that I did, I am doing that too. But if I just left it, so like I wake up and so I come down at 6 a.m., make coffee, and then read for an hour and a half. I don't touch my phone until 7:30 in the morning. And I'm convinced like the combination of those things is magical, and I can't tell which one of those ingredients in the recipe of.
Dude, the phone. I've been practicing that going to work.
Yeah.
And like my phone stays there. I'm not thinking about anything except I'm going to put a pastor's message.
Switch it to grayscale?
No. I'm not worried about it. It's literally just keep my phone away from me.
The other night we were at your house for the ugly sweater party, and I saw a phone and I tapped it and it was in grayscale. I'm like, oh, is that Jeff's phone? I'm like, good.
No.
Somebody was in grayscale. I'm like, that's a good hack.
It was a black and white picture of my family.
Oh.
That's how old his family is.
Well, then,
a little house on the prairie.
Yeah.
That's old.
Yeah, it was a picture from the 1800s.
Wait, why do they look so much better than you if you're all that old? Jeff, I'm sorry.
Make sure I get my walker before I get out of here.
Jeff is a reverse Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
This is coming up before. You guys just keep on digging.
That just means getting old.
That hurt.
Just regular ass old.
Just regular. Reverse Benjamin Button. I think I just coined a phrase.
I'll wait for my apology.
Good. Yeah. Is it too much? Does it?
If I apologize right now, it's going to seem fake, though.
It will seem fake.
Let's see how it goes.
So let's try it.
Let's see how it goes.
Can I mediate? Can I judge as a neutral third party?
Wait, you were a part of this, though.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, that actually,
Wait, how does he get out of it?
He doesn't.
It's because I came up with a cool phrase. That's how I got out of it.
All right, let me try.
That could be used elsewhere. You guys can use it. I'll let you use it.
Let me try.
Make sure you footnote me.
Wait, let me think. I'm going to receive. I think Zach might be apologizing to me right now.
Okay.
Jeff?
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
Oh.
Jeff?
I know.
My how the turntables have turned.
It's not your fault. Jeff?
I know. It's
not your fault.
I know.
It's not your fault. Also,
I know.
It got so quiet.
Also,
I can hear my nose whistle. I can't handle this. I can't get up to hug you.
I got weirdly emotional for a second there. It started to cross over. Oh man,
that's how you gaslight Jeff. Is you
Wait,
just
I think I do have it. I know it's just a crusty. I thought it was a tear.
Oh
You're
man.
trying to tuck it down, and now I can smell it. You fell into it too. You could sense it was happening.
Got those Jimmy Kimmel crocodile tears. He cried. He cried recently.
He always cries. What are you talking about?
I know.
Recently.
But you know what's funny is I've listened to Adam Carolla enough to know that Jimmy Kimmel can cry on command. And so when you see Jimmy Kimmel crying, it's like,
Oh, really?
okay. I don't know what that means, but okay.
I've never heard you use that accent before.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
That's new.
It was new. We're gonna have
Don't
to
get
look
used
that
to
up.
it. I'm going to forget about it. And I'm
Okay.
never going to do it again.
Okay.
I'm going to bury it. Okay.
Wait, do it again,
Okay.
It's not your fault. Oh,
No.
okay.
dude. Whoa, that went
Which
right
part?
over your head.
Which part?
I'm sorry, Jeff. But
It's okay.
then legit, if us poking fun at your age, like we've always done, is a thing that you're like, okay, I'm done with this. For sure, we'll drop it.
The best was this was when I was probably 38, 39, and Greg was like, "Who's the old guy?"
Old Greg.
Old Greg.
Old Greg said that?
Yeah, old Greg. This was way back. I mean, this is probably 12.
40 years.
Dude, that was probably 12 years ago. But I remember he's like, "All right, old guy." And I'm like, "Ooh,
Old guy.
He's
Yeah.
a little snippy."
But remember when you were young and like stupid?
No, I wasn't an asshole.
Remember though, you thought anybody over 35 is just basically dead.
Oh yeah.
What?
Right? Like I remember that being, especially in my 20s, I was like, oh, 30, 35? Good God, dude. Does anything work on you anymore? That's what I used. Yeah.
Wait, really? That's what you thought?
People who are 35 and older seemed a lot older than me. Like
And now that
way
I'm-
older.
Now that I'm 45, it's like, does anything work on me anymore?
No, that's I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to go down there. That's a whole nother topic. We can talk about that some other time.
A whole
A whole
nother.
So what do you think? What does God have for you? What does God have for you in terms of, how much joy you're going to bring to the world? You think you're at the age where, I probably got like 27 years left, or I got 49 years left. Do you guys ever think about that? Like, yeah, we've been apologizing, we've been repenting, but it's like, how long is God going to let us go on? Like, I'm this type of person. Am I just going to croak in about a year because I'm just been doing terrible things?
What do you mean by God letting us
Yeah.
go on?
That sounds like you're saying God's going, well,
Can't I just play with this a little bit?
And that's why I'm asking you to
know
play
what?
with it. What do you mean by that?
Jeff, that's one too many.
Wait.
Lightning strikes.
And I'm gone.
He gone.
Okay, that was good. That was a good segment. Thanks, Jeff. I don't know. It got silent.
I'm not sure what your question is.
My question is, do you ever think about
Death?
I don't mean death, but is not that God's up there going, all right, you're gone. But maybe we get into our own heads. Every once in a while I do. I'm like, do I have like a timestamp? Or it's like, this is how far you were going to go no matter what. Like, did God set things up to where you're going to 82, you're going to 16, you're going to 104?
Do you think God knows that date or God set that date or both?
Well, that's why I'm asking you guys.
No, but what do you think right off the top? You don't have to explain it, but where does your intuition right now currently lead you to that question?
I don't know. I mean, I realize it's not engaging at all, but I think about it.
You can change
from time to
you
time.
can change your opinion, but right now, what do you like? Word association. What is your initial response to that question? No thinking about it. You
Gun
don't
to
have to
your head.
justify
I
it.
feel like some people are God's got you going to 100, and some he's like, you're done at 30.
So God's calling the date. He's like, on my godly calendar, Jeff Pearson, 150.
Sold. Well,
And
that'd
then
be
he's
bad.
like-
I've had really bad. I'd have really bad.
And then he's
knees.
like, old Greg, 75.
Whoa. Sorry, Greg.
Hey, listen, I don't make the rules here. God does.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Okay, so your point is
It's predetermined.
God doesn't just know.
Just generally.
a general outline.
Yeah.
Hey, within these 5 years.
Oh, so
gone.
there's like a plus or minus. God can be
Well, you
off
said
a
I
little
could
bit.
change my opinion, so I
Okay,
am.
okay.
I
so-
like it. I like it. And can you influence that range? What influence can you do? Is it like
No,
things that you say, or is it how you've taken care of your body?
No, hold on though. Let's move on because we're
It's based on tithing.
over it. Thank you. Thank you, Life Church Money Back Guarantee people. Let's do this.
Callback, ladies and gentlemen. That's our professionals podcast. Thank you.
And we are professionals.
Yeah.
We literally make dollars.
Yes.
So Jeff, you basically think right now there's a deterministic aspect to the number of heartbeats one has. Andy, where are you at?
I think God has foreknowledge. I don't think that God predetermines that aspect. So God will know that I'm going to die at 85 years old. I don't think God is driving that date.
Mm.
I don't think he's making that decision. I don't think he needs to.
Meaning that date. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. This is where the wild THC infused thought rabbit holes abound. Of
At one point in time,
if God
once
knows
all
it,
of this light from all of the stars finally reaches Earth, is everything going to be totally bright all the time? That's my favorite thought. That's the best weed thought.
like if our exposure.
Can
just
you
stays
imagine?
open.
Every star's light that finally eventually all reaches Earth.
And the light of your soul exposure stays open forever. Like if you could go beyond the 30 seconds that iPhone lets you do, would you see all the stars? Okay. But yes, but if God doesn't determine it, but if it's actually set in stone, do you actually have free will? That's the stoner rabbit hole I want to go down now. But regardless, so you're different than Jeff, which is fine. And I
love how you do that. You're like, and it's fine. I'll allow it.
yeah, because I'm condescending and this is about me right now.
You don't need to apologize.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll let it go.
My
Oh, okay.
feelings
It's
aren't
okay.
my feelings aren't hurt.
It's not okay, but will you
No,
forgive me?
I'm just joking around.
Okay. Are you joking like I don't need to ask for forgiveness? Or
You do not have anything to ask for forgiveness tonight.
You do not have to ask.
Wait, did I fumble? Did I fumble?
No, I did.
Oh.
I just said that. I just wanted to make it weird. Now I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Now I'm not clear. What is the thing?
Yeah. I don't think God controls because according to 1 Corinthians, keeps no records of wrong.
Yeah, but what if it's
Doesn't
just
control.
it's like hope these 80 years are great.
What is the day of judgment?
We
by the
just
way?
lip smacked at almost the same time. That was
Did
adorable.
I do that too?
Yeah, we both did.
I did it?
I think maybe this
I can
should
have
be
the
a
court
short.
reporter read back the lip
Yeah.
smack.
It was so close.
Oh man. Jeff as producer?
We
Did I
can't.
lip smack? I didn't even that was a subconscious lip smack.
Oh my God. I'm going back to 105.10 or so. This is
All
going
right,
to
we
be
gotta
a
look at this. This is
YouTube
good
short.
pod.
How does it feel about you? How do you feel about us lip smacking? Like we're both not thinking we lip smack at the same
And
time.
I want you, as the producer, I want you to know
Did God cause that?
that.
Nobody knew it was gonna happen.
Okay,
Because why would he
moving
shit
on.
about that?
Moving on.
Yeah, I don't believe God controls at all because love doesn't control. Okay.
But age is not. Maybe that's not control at all. It's what we do during that time that is not controlled.
It's what you did.
It's what we do. It is.
We came full circle. Let's move on.
This has been great. I'm not saying we're ending, but I think we're sort of in the descent period.
I gotta say, this has been great.
I believe that. Do you believe that I believe that?
Maybe.
I'm just trying. I'm wondering if
Did
it
you want
might
to talk about some stuff?
it might no, not in depth, but it might because we did some good in depth conversation.
Let's get surfacey.
We did things.
Let's do it.
What if we just do quick rapid fire reactions to a couple of the major headlines in the universe,
Oh, okay. That sounds good. Let's do that.
and then we'll do a couple feedbacks.
I got some weird ones too.
Andy,
Yes.
I concur.
Jeff concurs. I concur with Jeff's concurrence.
Okay. Hal Lindsey died. Do you know who Hal Lindsey is?
Hal Lindsey, he created sheet music.
By the way, I gotta say, when you first brought this up, you're like, "Hal Lindsey died." I'm like, "Who? What's happening to? What's happening?"
Yeah, my
to
wife, my wife Lindsay. It did sound like you said how Lindsay died. I'm
Oh.
like, I don't know yet.
Or it's Hal Lindsey died.
God knows, but we
Yeah.
don't. Yeah,
Do you guys know Hal?
Hal
Lindsey.
Lindsey.
Is he the one that created sheet music?
Whoa, I don't know that reference, but yes.
All right, nailed it.
Late Great Planet. He wrote The Late Great Planet Earth. He's very big in Christian eschatology.
Apparently not that big.
In
We don't know
times-
who he is.
In times,
I don't know Hal.
I actually have more respect for you guys now that you don't know who he is.
Is it Howl or Hal?
Hal.
That's passive
Okay,
aggression.
Hal.
I like it.
Against him or you guys?
You did it to us.
No,
Yeah.
I have more respect. I was steeped in rapture culture. He's big.
Oh, you don't
rapture.
like him?
Dispensationalism.
Okay.
Some predictions on when the late great planet Earth is one of the reasons why the Left Behind series got written. and
Okay.
on all those things. Anyways, a titan in that industry. Actually, one of his cousins, I don't remember who wrote the book, 88 Reasons Why Jesus Will Return in 1988. Didn't happen. So he wrote the follow-up, 89 Reasons Why Jesus Will
Oh my
Return in
gosh.
1989.
This reminds me of the climate
Didn't
change.
happen.
78, 88, 98. How about 2008,
That guy's
2018?
Guy's a freaking genius.
There is a religious parallel there, Jeff, that
He's
you
a
might be onto.
genius.
I feel like I'm doing prices right. 800, 805, 810, 811, 12, 13, 14. Ding, ding, ding. You win the couch.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
You got something chambered, Andy?
No, keep going.
Gwen Stefani.
Wait. Did you want to say he died?
He's like 90 something. He just
Oh.
died.
He's just old.
His book, that book sold millions upon millions upon millions of copies and has shaped American Christianity to this day.
Wait, what was the name of the book again?
The Late Great Planet Earth. Basically, the destruction. Israel gets formed as a state in 1948, and within a generation is when Jesus will come back. And that's why a biblical generation is often referred to as 40 years. So that's where people got 1988 from. Israel founded 1948. Some parts in the part in the Bible is like within this generation shall not pass when these things come.
Okay.
Yeah. So 1988. That's how that number came to pass. But
Okay.
he's one in a long line of dispensationalists that continue to be wrong to this day. Shots
I
fired.
thought mathematicians were the reason, or where the number 1988 came from. Continue.
Maybe. Hallow back girl, Gwen Stefani. The internet reacts to Gwen Stefani partnering with the Catholic prayer app. Have you heard of Hallowed?
Hallowed
Or maybe it's Hallow.
Hallow.
Hallow. I think it's Hallow.
Hallowed be my name.
Yeah,
Hallowed.
that's what it's
Not your
based
name.
on.
Nope.
Hallowed be my name.
That is blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Anyways, she's
oh, sorry.
She's getting paid.
she's getting paid by the Hallowed app, which I think
Is connected to the Catholic Church.
it is. It's a Catholic prayer app, and oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Hey guys, what's going on? It's a shitty impression.
Hallowed
You're
be
not gonna
thy
know.
name. Gosh darn it. What am I doing?
You looking for a celebrity?
No, one of the brothers, Boston. God.
Yes. Mark Wahlberg.
Thank you.
Got it.
God dang.
Are you serious?
I got it. I didn't get it. I got it from the Boston part, but not the. Hey guys, what's going on?
That was terrible.
But that's pretty good.
But that
now,
is-
now I know what he's doing. Hey guys,
What's
what's going
going
on? How come you're doing this?
Hey,
All right.
say hello to your mother.
Hey,
What?
your mother.
like after he does 100 push-ups, no shirt. What's
Hey,
going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on? Yeah,
Yeah.
So I got a little pump on. Whatever.
Anyways, I think he was the initial celebrity that
Yes.
founded that, and it is just it's. What do you think about high profile people hawking Christian things
It's been happening for years.
for money? But I know, but it runs counter to a lot of Christians right now think that the world is out to get them, but also the Christian industrial, the evangelical.
Are you saying that when Christians see that happening, like with the Gwen Stefani, what are they up to?
No, I think Christians. The broad evangelical context is that the world is out to get us. That we're experiencing.
There is some truth.
There
to
is
that.
some truth. I'm not gonna argue against that.
Yeah.
But the evangelical industrial complex is bigger than it's ever been. With The Chosen, with that the company that's putting out there's faith-based content that's never been bigger. These prayer apps are piggybacking on that, I think. And I know I'm just throwing this out there. None of us have thought deeply about this, but it is wild. Like it might be a new version of the money tables that Jesus was like, oh, you're buying and selling in my name.
I agree.
Like, fuck this, turn the table.
I agree.
My words, not Jesus. I don't think Jesus said F this.
I think you just apologized. It's okay. You're good.
All things being equal, what would you rather have, though? Would you rather have this be the thing that becomes popular, or some garbage, or TikTok?
Do you guys have a problem with that? Like celebrities jumping on the bandwagon to make a lot of money and also hawk a prayer app?
I think that celebrity impact is probably fading pretty fast. I think we got to see that in the election. That you had a ton of celebrities that were pushing one candidate over the other, and it didn't seem to make a difference. No
impact.
So this stuff probably comes and goes in waves, and maybe
It's definitely a wave right now.
But how about this? The people who are susceptible to being influenced by a celebrity,
a lot of people.
I actually don't know how many people it would be that, like, let's just say this. Those people, well, if they are maybe more susceptible in general to things, to influence, well, at least why not influence them towards something like this? Like I said, versus them getting influenced towards,
true,
say, Bitcoin. Tom Brady, I'm looking at you.
Dude, that was wild. Yeah, and then Hawk coin. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
She had a crypto coin, the Hawk girl, which, by the way, her podcast, Talk Tua, it's a perfect name for her.
I bet Whitney Cummings gave that to her.
Maybe.
She's like, here's a freebie, kid.
And
get you started right.
And new episodes every Tuesday. It's Talk Tua Tuesdays. It's just the Taco Tuesday of
oh my gosh.
Talk Tuas.
It's getting worse as you keep talking.
Don't Google any of this, people, if you don't know what I'm talking about. You'll be better for it.
Yeah, it's for the best. No, I'm like of the mind that all things being equal, it doesn't. Well, how about this? Did it bother you when Mark Wahlberg did it?
No, but it's just like I don't.
Does it bother you when Gwen Stefani does it?
It doesn't.
I didn't know either of these things.
It doesn't either way. I actually saw a Mark Wahlberg commercial during one of a playoff game last year, and it was like as soon as I saw it,
hey
it's
guys,
like,
are you praying? Maybe you should be.
Maybe you should be praying more.
Hey, I pray all the time.
Oh, you got to make yourself out of breath. He's always out of breath.
Hey guys.
I
was praying yesterday. I was just praying before I got on this commercial.
I was praying while I was doing those push-ups. And now I'm out of breath.
I did some push-ups. I did some prayers. What about you guys? Are you guys not doing that? Oh, you're not doing the prayers? I got into a little more New York there.
That's all
Boston.
right. That's all right. It's all.
I wasn't apologizing.
Kissing cousins.
I'm not saying.
I know
I'm sorry.
that's why I didn't forgive you. I just said it's all right. The callbacks are many.
Yeah.
Was that a Gwen Stefani callback?
No problems.
Or a hollerback?
No problems. Just hallow back.
Hallowed be thy name.
Be thy name. Yeah, the commercialism is kind of gross and weird. I don't think it's bad necessarily, but if you're somebody of faith that's like, oh, we got another celebrity on our team. It's like, no, drop that. That's stupid. Don't do that game.
And I know you, and you hate that. You hate this.
I hate identifying with a team of anything.
Yeah.
Because it's just like,
especially if they're a sports player, because then it's guaranteed that they're going to get worse.
except for the Rams.
Darryl Strawberry goes to the Dodgers, becomes a Christian, plays like garbage.
Yeah, it just proves the Christianity persecution complex.
Yeah, it was spiritual warfare.
Or it was the cocaine. Who knows?
No. Couldn't have been that.
All right, what do you got?
Speaking of cocaine, Jamie Foxx is finally sharing details of his 6-month disappearance from the spotlight due to a health emergency back in April 2023. Do you remember this? Do you remember?
I was missing Jamie Foxx so much.
During the pandemic, he disappeared. At the time, he was hospitalized for an undisclosed medical complication with a few details shared since to explain what was happening to the Oscar-winning actor. In his new Netflix special, now streaming, maybe we should get some money from this.
It's on my list.
Okay, it says he reveals he had a brain bleed that led to a stroke followed by an arduous recovery. But I
do remember that. I do remember that.
I also heard that he was sick. Now, you remember that part?
Yes.
But I also heard that he said that Diddy poisoned him.
I heard that too.
Right?
I heard
allegedly.
This is good entertainment.
Do we have a source for that? Because I heard the same thing.
I don't remember what the source was, but
Does he say it in the special?
Well, it says that he had a brain, according to
But maybe he talks
Yahoo
about it in
Entertainment.
Maybe
all
that's
marketing.
Maybe it's coming from the special. Either way,
It feels like they're burying the lead. If they would have said, that would have been the headline. Diddy poisoned me and gave me a stroke.
100%. They were throwing stuff. They're throwing at the dartboard.
Dude,
throwing at the dartboard.
It's just clickbait. It drives me nuts. One of the other headlines that we're not going to do, but I'm going to say it now, was from the Christian Post about pastors cautioning against don't let Candace Owens, who's a conservative firebrand, into your church because she's been critical of Israel in certain ways. I read the whole article, and they don't say anything about what she actually said about the critique of Israel. And it's like, what
Headline.
What are we doing? There's no reporting. Are we just like, we're copy and pasting?
They're literally taking.
AI?
They're like, hey, do you got a quote? Okay, let's throw this at the dartboard and see if it sticks for the idiots in the world.
And then literally, and we've done this before, where I heard what you said about the Diddy stuff. I heard that too, but literally it was a headline, and I didn't read through to it, so I'm doing it too. But when you see it happen, it's like, I want the actual. Why should we not let Candace Owens in church? Like, I'm with you. She can be she's not always wrong, but she can be a little bit crazy. But having nothing to back up your headline, come on, people.
She talks so fast.
My daughter told me about these like Instagram ads that she sees and you can comment on ads in Instagram, and one of the things she said, she told me she basically uses Instagram to read the comment section now on everything. And the latest trend is there'll be like an Axe body spray ad, and in the comments it'll say, "Nice try, Diddy."
Oh man.
Okay, can I read a comment real quick from one of our videos? This is the Carrie Robinson episode.
Oh yeah, I had a couple of these posts.
Okay, there's only one of them, and it says, this is from Clip Casserole. What a good name. It said, "Here for Carrie, best arms in the pastoral profession." Wow, Carrie.
Erwin McManus in his heyday might have something to say about that because he was the McMahon. You're welcome. And
like the calves are the thing.
I know, that's what I replied today to that comment. As Bros, Bibles, and Beer, don't forget about those calves. Carrie's calves. You cannot teach those calves.
That's the thing you say.
But a couple other feedbackies. The last episode where we talked about the politics and all that shenanigans post-election. Dave Millsap, Trump and his ragtag cabinet of former Democrats was about as close to breaking away from the stale two-party system as you can get at this time. He was a major disruptor to the entrenched system, and now we shall see if they can represent the people rather than corporations, be they big pharma or the military-industrial complex. Smaller government is hopefully what you ended up getting, Zack.
It will be fun to see. I've never been interested in a president's cabinet the way that I am right now.
Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah, I feel like I want to say to total Trump sellouts, like, prepare to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And to the people that are totally in fear right now,
prepare to be disappointed.
It's you're not going to have that much. It's going to be okay. And then on it was another comment on one of our videos, Draco 5400. These look like the most boring guys in America. And then our great defender, Dave Millsap, then quit watching and go back to playing Minecraft.
Oh my gosh. Dave stepped in on another one too a few months ago. I love how he just wrecks people in the comments, which is why no one's commenting anymore. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Dave is awesome because he'll leave such detailed pushback and comments. Some of it is critical about what we're saying. It's beautiful, but also he's like, hey, stay off my boys.
There was one that I appreciate it, Dave. That's fun, man. I'm here for you in the comment section. Nice try, Diddy. This one was from one of our political episodes too, post-election. And Michael Hannigan, 5159 says, hey folks, Satan tempted Jesus with all the kingdoms of the world, but Jesus took them all from Satan at the cross. John 12:31. Jesus is king. We are called to elect those who recognize his kingship or will best govern under the kingship of Christ. That is covering all of your bases.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure what that means either.
How are we called to that and where?
He better recognize kingship, or if he doesn't, that was close. That was where the guy that you didn't like, the guy who gave the fake apology, remember that pastor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Josh Howerton.
Josh Howerton gave the fake apology, which Carrie was cool with.
Or maybe, let's just pretend it was real, but it was borrowed. It's hard to think it was real, but he borrowed it from a friend.
He genuinely felt the plagiarism.
Do you want to talk about non-genuine apologies? That was the perfect non-genuine apology.
But anyways, go ahead.
I am sorry for what I said to you.
Forrest. Okay.
The one of the points that he gave when he was trying to help, to help Christians think through what does it mean to be a Christian and to vote in government elections. And he did say, hey, look, we are not called to only look for and vote for like the person who checks every box of Christianity. Like your pastor is not running for, imagining that your pastor is
pastor president.
Yeah, it's not pastor president, right? And he effectively, the idea he was giving was it's the person who's closest to that, because you're not going to find perfection. So whoever's closest to it, you should be called to vote for that person. I think that is what that person is effectively saying, Michael Hannigan, 5159. Best govern under the kingship of Christ, but he kind of blocks his previous statement.
I don't 100% disagree with that, but I don't think we're called to vote for anybody. And I've yet to see anyone make a biblical argument where we today, I'm not saying don't vote, but I am saying if you don't want to vote for your own faith reasons, that's just as good to me.
I mean, I feel like we should be voting because the government should be a group of believers, and they should be driven by God, by making decisions based off that. And when they don't, it's like you've gone sideways, and it's time to go somewhere else. In terms of, and obviously we don't follow our politicians. We're following God, but the hope is that the people that are in government.
I think we are following our politicians. I'm not talking about you, but I think you're describing an ideal.
Certainly, it's an ideal that biblically, when we think of, when we go into the Bible and it talks about government, this is a whole other topic, but there's specifics in there about following your your government and doing what but at the same time, those government officials are to be holy. They're to be believers. And
I don't think they are. I don't think that's part of it. How about this? Someone who's not a believer but does a great job and helps the poor and helps lift their country up and follows all the ideals that people would say, wow, you really did right by your country. Would none of that be good if they weren't a believer?
I mean, there's people who do good throughout their entire life and aren't believers.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, maybe who knows in the end what their thoughts are, but
yeah,
of course, yes, lots of people do good things, but my argument is when those politicians make decisions that aren't holy, that aren't biblical, that aren't following the will of God, I then am like, you're not to be followed then.
That's fine, but that doesn't necessarily that you're not required to be a non-Christian to fall into that camp, because there's way too many Christian politicians who especially got caught out for stuff that they were like rebuking live. There's a few of them who have fallen prey to like homosexual encounters with interns. And I'm failing to
most of the ones that are the most anti-gay vocally.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess the point is like, sin doesn't care if you're a Christian or not. Good decisions don't necessarily care if you're a Christian or not. Good judgment doesn't also care if you're a Christian or not. So can someone, that was Josh Howerton's point. He's like, hey, can someone who says they're not a Christian, but the majority of their actions seem to uphold Christian values, could we not get behind someone like that?
Also, if someone said, well, why? Like, why are you against abortion? Like, what? Where are you? So
what? So what if they gave you an answer that didn't involve God? Would you invalidate it?
No, I'm actually getting to the point where if they were like, well, taking life is not good. Well, how do you like? Ultimately, I'm like, maybe. Do you believe in God? Like, that kind of would be my next question. Like, where does this thought process come from? Where did you get that from?
What if they're like, nope, not at all. I do not believe in God at all, but I also don't want abortion to happen.
Well, when that real time comes and I'm in that conversation, we'll see. But until then, I don't even have any speculation.
I think there's a lot of politicians that are anti-abortion and claim to believe in God that don't, but it's politically expedient. But
this is that time. 100%.
Regardless, your opinion is super valid, and
once again, thank you. Thank you.
I'm saying that, I'm like, shit, I'm doing it again. I deserve pushback from Jeff. Passive aggression.
Zach will allow you to think that.
No, you do think that, and I think that's great. You're not making the case, and the problem I have is with the word called. And nobody has made a convincing biblical case for me about why you're called to vote for. I don't disagree with Howerton on vote for the guy that you think is, if there's somebody that's close, so they don't.
Do you think you can be called to anything? Do you think God calls you to anything?
Yeah.
Then why couldn't he call you to vote?
From where?
From the phone. That's where calls come from. What do you mean?
But when a pastor says you are called as a Christian to vote, ostensibly it has to come from somewhere. Where's the call coming from? If it's coming from God, how do we know that? I've not.
But how do you know any calling is coming from God?
That you're moving the goalpost.
No.
You're changing my argument.
I'm just trying to generalize it. So, but
that's not my point. My point is very specific.
You're asking where it's coming from.
Josh Howerton and other people are saying the Christian is called to vote a certain way.
Sure.
Where's that call coming from?
Well, I think his answer would be he would say God is calling Christians to vote.
Thank you. And which proves nothing. It's a faith statement. And I'm waiting for one.
That's okay.
it is okay.
But is it any kind of calling? God called me to be a firefighter. Isn't that a faith statement?
I think you just want to be a firefighter.
So but
it is a faith statement.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So they are all faith statements.
But the problem is with the election, the reason we hate each other right now, and not us because we are.
Yeah, we don't hate each other
great.
anymore.
We don't hate each other. We all apologize to each other. We love
the media
world.
stopped, so we're all good now.
But
we've unplugged from the matrix.
But the reason there's so much strife between people, I don't think it helps when pastors are like, you're as a Christian, you are called to vote, and therefore you're called to vote a certain way, but we can't legally say, so we'll just hint around and beat around the bush. But nobody gives evidence from the Bible, from Jesus' actual ministry, and they can't. There's nothing from Jesus' actual life. This is what I'm waiting for. It's like, you are called because this is what Jesus did here, and this is why you should vote.
Yeah, but dude, are you holding a really strict literal interpretation?
I care about how, if we're supposed to be like Jesus, how did Jesus walk and talk and live?
Well, wait,
yes, I care about that.
Did Jesus specifically say about your reaction to someone on the freeway cutting you off or acting like a jerk to you? Where does he say he calls you to, on the freeway, not lose your temper?
It's possible that loving your enemies and praying for those who persecute you, that would fall under that.
Sorry, my reaction was such a dick move.
Yeah.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's, okay, so that's the point, right? So just because it doesn't say the words vote.
Dude, I know I'm not arguing with you.
You know what I mean, though?
But you have pastors saying, if you're a Democrat, you're a demon.
Well, I don't agree with that.
This represents tens and hundreds of thousands of Christians.
I know.
This is a real thing.
I know.
And does it matter to you guys that whenever pastors are calling Christians to vote, they can't use an example from Jesus' life and ministry? Does that matter to you guys?
So,
and if I'm missing one, let me know in the comments because I'm open to change. You cannot make an argument from Jesus' life and ministry, how he walked and talked and ministered to people, to make a justification for voting in any way, shape, or form. And that's that's meaningful to me, and I might be wrong, but that's right now.
Can I poke at that a little bit? Just because
I just asked for it.
I don't feel I don't feel that way. And the reason I don't feel that way is because I think that Jesus does care about the outcomes that will affect people in real intangible ways. And I think that God calls us to be people who help affect those outcomes in the world today. And I think that voting is a way to do that.
Do you have an example from the Bible
where God calls us to be the hands and feet?
From Jesus says
Jesus says to be the hands and feet of God, to be disciples in the world, to love the poor and the needy.
Yeah.
Yeah, to love the orphans and the widows.
Yes, and
and do you think that if you that certain politicians can enact legislation that would have effects in those good ways?
I don't disagree with that.
And I have kind of rhetorical questions, but
which is
that's where I'm kind of thinking.
Why can't it just be an overarching theme? Why does it specifically need to say, Zach, do this?
Yeah.
Or whatever it might.
Because too many pastors are using their weight in the pulpit to say, do this.
Yeah, but
I think that's a different argument, though. I don't disagree.
No, that is the argument I'm making.
No, your argument you made is that Jesus doesn't give any implication that voting would be a thing that Christians should be involved in.
No, if you don't vote correctly.
Oh, that's different. That's a different. I might agree with you on.
I'm not saying you shouldn't vote as a Christian, and obviously, if you vote.
You made it sound like that.
It did sound like that, right?
I fucking caveated that. I said I'm not arguing against voting. If obviously the way you think Jesus wants you to live is going to impact how you vote.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of pastors saying if you don't vote this way, if you don't vote that way, or the call, you are called to vote. And when a pastor says that, you know they're talking about the Republican candidate. So unless you go to an Episcopal church or another,
I feel like the argument that you're making really is, it feels gross when a pastor pushes a particular candidate and tries to spiritualize a specific candidate and influence people to vote for them.
That's ugly.
That's
part of it. And also the word call, like you as a Christian, you are called. It's like how did Jesus vote? There's nothing in Jesus' ministry. He pushed back in nonviolent ways against the Romans, but he's under an oppressive Roman regime.
But again, like if Jesus says, like if he calls us to love our neighbor as ourselves,
yeah,
right? But he doesn't need to enumerate every single variation of what that looks like, right?
I like how you're pausing. Like, Zach, you need to reflect on this.
He doesn't need to, but
no. And so, like, why can't voting be one of those ways?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need to.
He doesn't.
Right.
Whoever according to the gospel, whatever they wrote down, it doesn't include that.
It doesn't have to, right? Because it's not intended to be a checklist. It's intended to be character based. And the heart of what Jesus is saying,
which is why,
and it can manifest in infinite ways, right?
Which is why any true Christian wouldn't have voted this year, because it's character based. Thank you. I rest my case.
It's your character, not theirs.
How dare you? Which is why my character is flawed. That's why I didn't vote. So I'm right either way. Thank you.
You almost went into a Trump right there.
Oh yeah.
No, I think.
Thank you. You know, these nipples, nobody's seen nipples like this. You should be watching on YouTube because
they're like silver dollars. I can't do a Trump.
Is somebody...
No one can do a Trump like Jeff.
Neither can I.
Jeff can do a Trump.
Jeff can do Trump better.
You know...
This move right here.
I gotta tell you, I was with Melania last night, and she was talking to me
too much
about silver nipples.
Silver nipple.
But I said, you gotta go with gold.
All right, so if you voted...
By the way, that was a terrible
voted,
Trump.
You're not a Christian, according to Zach. That's what I want you to take away.
I'm just saying, if you didn't vote because of your conscience and the way you think Jesus lived and walked, and you think that excludes you from voting, you gotta defend her here. That's fine. But if you voted because of your conscience, I'm all for it. I know Christians that voted both ways, multiple ways, every way, 6 ways to Sunday. 3 sheets
Make
to
sure
the
you
wind.
edit out my Trump, because that was terrible.
That was
Dude,
terrible.
Yours was better than mine, and especially better than Andy's.
No, it's because I haven't had anything to drink, so my voice isn't scratchy.
Yeah, you need
going
that's
clean.
part of the thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the feedback, individuals who
You're
left
welcome.
it.
Oh,
thank you. I knew that was coming.
And also thank you for the pushback. I'm here for it.
yeah.
We're all just processing out loud.
It's good.
But still, it is impactful to me that the examples for why a Christian should do a thing often come from the Old Testament or from Paul and not from Jesus' life.
I did give
It's
you
worth considering.
I gave you a few. You should consider the ones I gave you from Jesus.
I didn't disagree with those.
I know.
Those should influence the way you live.
Consider them throughout the week.
Yeah.
Let me know how it impacts you
Okay.
next Tuesday.
I promise you I won't. I won't.
You will, because I'm going to text you in the morning when I'm awake.
Have you considered the counsel I gave you on the podcast?
Have you considered the counsel of Nicaea? I would like you to reflect on the counsel that I gave you.
All right. Well,
All right.
Yeah.
Dude, this is good. Listener, by the way, give us some feedback. If you can't tell, we're doing it a little different. We've had some thoughts. We've had some come to brothers moments. I won't say come to Jesus, because we didn't necessarily talk to Jesus about this one. I didn't, at least. But we're trying to modify a little bit about
If you're
the way.
talking to me, you're talking to Jesus.
Yeah, please tell us that we're the most, what did they say? Most boring.
We're
We're
super
the most
boring.
boring guys ever.
Boring guys.
Enough that you had to give feedback.
No way, dude. I opened this show strong, and I didn't even know it. That was pure. That was from the heart. I didn't even know we were recording.
Okay, Vinny.
Hey, that was from the heart.
Unbridled masculinity.
I did it. What, guys?
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
What are you doing, guys? I just got doing push-ups, guys.
Who wants to do a podcast?
Oh, my gosh.
Hey,
Guys, should we
do
sit?
a podcast?
Hey,
All
we
right.
just finished a podcast, man. That was hard work.
All right.
Let's get out of here, guys.
For Jeff, Zach, I'm Andy. Grace.
Peace. Cheers.
Cheers. I was not ready for that. Not ready for that.
No one wants to listen to some boring ass white dudes.